else? Okay, so I have a thought. Love is not a bargaining chip. You know, so a lot of times we kind of like put our love like chips at a poker game in the middle and say, okay, your turn, ante up, meet what I've put there. So we think, you know, love is as I have loved you, you must love me back. It's always wanting a return. It's a negotiating method, you know. It's like I expect something from you because I love you and I want you to return that love. But I don't know what that is, but it's not love, it's something else. We kind of learn what real love is, the kind that St. Paul says love never fails. We learn that, you know, really from the kind of God we have, who is too busy loving us to be disappointed, doesn't care how you measure up. God's love for us is zero dependent on our love for God. Nobody gets that. Because we project onto God who we are, which is, I love you, you love me back. We got this, there's my bargaining chip. And God doesn't do that. There's a no matter whatness to how our God is. Our God doesn't want anything from us, just wants stuff for us. Joy, peace, happiness. I said that this summer to about 5,000 people in a big theater, and this guy came up to me, he was a minister, and he said, I liked your talk, I don't agree with you. I said, about what? You know, the part that God doesn't want anything from us, God just wants for us. I mean, what about the 10 Commandments? And I said, what about them? I mean, in the end, if you knew that you had a God who loves you no matter what, who doesn't want anything from you, would you steal? Would you lie? Would you kill? No, because then it's from the inside out rather than from the outside in. So at that talk, I had told a story about, I gave a talk here at a kind of a private shishi-fufu school at night, only to the parents and the teachers. No kids were there. But in the front row was a kid named Diego. He was 10 years old, and I watched him as I gave my 45-minute little talk like I always give. I watched him, and I noticed that he was hanging on every word. Anything funny I said, he was got us laughing, falling out of his chair laughing. I thought, wow, thinking to myself, how's this 10-year-old kid get this, you know? And whenever I said anything that was jaw-dropping, his jaw would drop. He'd gasp. And then at the end, I tell a story about these two homies, Puppet and Youngster, who worked together at the silk screen. Enemies, wouldn't shake hands, wouldn't talk to each other. And 6 months after they met, Puppet was beaten to death by some gang members. And Youngster calls me and says, he wasn't my enemy. He was my friend. We worked together, as he sobbed on the phone. Well, when I told that story, which ended my talk, I watched as the adults kind of went flick, flick, you know, kind of discreet. Ooh, not Diego. Sobbing, wailing, weeping. He was just beside himself with grief and really crying. And again, I'm thinking, how is this kid getting such the depth of this? When his mom, with a kind of a faint smile and no judgment, she just sort of slowly reaches over and rests her hand on her kid's shoulder. Well, what happens next is kind of a showstopper. As soon as she makes contact, he turns to his mother and says, "What?" I stop speaking. Everybody in the thing looks at him. He's a little embarrassed, but not that much. He demurs a little and kind of turns into the stage whisper. What? Now, anybody who's been a kid or has had a kid knows exactly what that is. What do you want from me? How have I embarrassed you? How have I let you down right now? What would you rather have me do? Etc., etc. And yet it was abundantly clear to me that the mother had no sense of judgment or disdain or disappointment. Two things only, so clear. How'd I get so lucky to have a son like you? And what breaks your heart breaks mine. That was it. Did she want anything from him? No. She only wanted for him. If you love being loving, it's its own reward. Nobody needs to return anything. Nobody. Not ever. Not ever. Because that's the kind of God we have, who doesn't want anything from us. Just wants for us. Love is not a bargaining chip. And real love never fails.